Today, we're going to talk about something that is rather controversial in our hobby, which is fertilization. If you want to know how I fertilize my tank and how I think about fertilization, in this video, I'm going to tell you everything I know. Fertilization in our hobby, aquascaping, or even planted tank is something I feel that it is quite extreme. I know there are people who never fertilize their tank and their tank is doing well, their plants are healthy. And I also know that there are people who fertilize their tank every single day and their tank is doing well as well. No algae, clean, plants are healthy. So that is why I say I see two different, very extreme approach when it comes to fertilization in our hobby. So what is the right way to do? To be honest, I do not know. I do not think that is a right or wrong way to do. I feel that as long as you are comfortable with what you are doing and you are satisfied with the condition of your tank, I think you are doing the right thing. There is no right or wrong. So today, I will share with you my method of fertilization. And I'm not trying to teach or tell you to follow what I do. I'm just sharing with you what I do so that you maybe can use it as reference or not. Just a pure sharing. I'm not saying that what I do is correct, but I'm in this hobby for already quite some time. And so far, I've been using the same approach over the last 18 years. And I think, I want to think that I'm doing okay in this hobby. And my tanks are usually quite okay. My plants are healthy. I seldom have algae problem. So I don't know. I'm just sharing with you today all these years' experience. I sum up in a few points for you. And before we start, I have to make a disclaimer. This is not a sponsored video. I had to pay for all this fertilizer myself to make this video. So this is just purely sharing my view. I will not bias towards or against any brand. So just my pure sharing. Okay. My first principle when it comes to fertilization, I never fertilize my tank during the initial first month or first few weeks. So whenever I started planting, from the moment I start planting until let's say 3 to 4 weeks, I never fertilize my tank. Never. In order to do that, I feel that there is a few prerequisite that I have to do. I have to fulfill. First of all, I have to make sure that my tank has enough nutrients from the soil. So although I always recycle my soil, my substrate, I will always add in 1 or 2 or 3 bags of fresh substrate to my tank on top. So this fresh soil or substrate will make sure that my tank has enough nutrients to sustain for the initial first few weeks. So I think this is an important condition that I had to make sure. And I do use some root tap, especially at a sand area. So I often use some root taps to put at a sand area so that I have to make sure that even those plants that I put on the sands has enough nutrient to start off. And why do I, let's say, do not dose in the first month? Because I feel that when we first planted our tank, when the plant is just freshly planted, they are still adapting to the new environment. They are not really growing yet. It is like, like a newborn baby. When the baby it is, let's say, in the infant stage, they do not need extra, mineral, vitamin to grow. They just need the basic stuff. And for plant, I think during the initial first few weeks, what they need the most is very good carbon dioxide, CO2 level. The lighting has to be sufficient and the water has to be clean and good. I feel that these are the 3 main criteria for the plant to grow or to do well in the first few weeks. They do not need really extra fertilization. This is they are just trying to survive. They are not really growing yet in the first few weeks. So why should we put so much fertilizer when the plant is not growing yet? So this is, I always do the same thing. During the first month, I never dose fertilizer. So I will start dosing when the tanks are like, all the plants I can see very healthy growth. I mean, the plant volumes are at a certain level, usually at the third or fourth week, let's say 1 month. Then that is the time where I will start dosing fertilizer. So I've been doing the same thing for the last, I don't know, 18 years. Yeah, so I feel that this is, I'm not saying this is a correct method, as I mentioned just now, but this is what I did all the while. And I feel that I will continue to do the same. Whether you want to follow me or not, this is your call. But this is what I do. So this is my first, let's say, principle or guideline when it comes to fertilization. The second point, I will only dose fertilizer after water change. Only after water change. If I do not do water change, I will never dose anything to my tank. So usually for a contest tank, if let's say in a normal condition, I will do water change like 2 to 3 times a week. And every time is 30 to 40%. So if I do 2 times water change a week, I will dose fertilizer 2 times, meaning after every water change, I will dose. And then I will not dose the following day or the next day if I do not do any more water change. I will only dose fertilizer after water change. This is something that I am very insist. I've been doing the same thing as well for the last many, many years. I'm not a scientist, but I believe that water change is a very good practice to reset our tank. If let's say our tank has some, I don't know, let's say excess nutrient that is not being taken up by the plants, or there are some waste or even some toxin, water change will somehow neutralize all this and bring the tank condition back to the, let's say, zero ground. And I think that is the best time to dose fertilizer. I do not believe in, to be honest, I do not believe in daily dose because we actually do not know how much the plant is taking up the fertilizer. There could be a lot of residue fertilizer in the tank. We don't know. Maybe there is insufficient, maybe there is residue. Honestly, we can never know. So I feel that the safer way to dose fertilizer is after every water change. I think that is the, I want to play it safe, to be honest. Although I know that there are a lot of people doing daily dose, and if let's say they are fine with their practice, all good, but I'm the person who do not believe in daily dosing of fertilizer. I only dose after every water change. And for my recent tank, because of the water condition problem, water hardness problem, I do daily water change. And in that case, I dose every day because I do daily water change. So you see, I'm not saying that I never do daily dosing. No, if I do daily water change, I will dose daily. So this is my second principle. I only dose after every water change. And my third principle, I think, is the more controversial one. I never dose according to what is recommended by the manufacturer. I always underdose. For example, if let's say on the bottle or on the instruction, they say you have to dose 10 ml for every 100 liter. 10 ml for every 100 liter. If let's say it is in the instruction, I will dose 50%. I will dose 5 ml in every 100 meter. Sorry, 100 liter. I will always underdose. Why? Personally, I think that the recommended dosage written on the instruction are just a reference. The manufacturer, the fertilizer manufacturer, they will never know the exact amount to dose because the nutrient uptake in our tank is depending on many, many factors. For example, the lighting period, the lighting intensity, how much CO2 are we pumping, the water temperature, what kind of plants is in our tank, how much plant volumes is in our tank, and many others. So how can a fertilizer manufacturer know exactly what amount to dose? So they are just basing on a certain data and average data. So I feel that underdosing is always safer. Overdose could give us problem, but underdose seldom give us problem. As I say, I want to be really safe in my fertilization approach. So I feel that I will always start underdosing my tank. For example, in the first month, I will underdose it 50%. So I only dose half of what is recommended. And after 2 or 3 weeks, if I see the tank is okay, I maybe will keep this underdose routine. But if I see my plants are slightly lack of energy, or the plants is growing not to the optimum level, for example, the shape, the colors, and the strength, the vibrancy of the plant is a little bit lacking, I will maybe increase a little bit. So I will basically use the plant condition to tell me whether I'm dosing enough or not enough. But I will always start with half of what the recommended dosage is. So as I say, this is not a popular opinion. I'm sure many of my friends who is maybe in the shop or in this fertilization business will not like my comment this way. But as I say, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just telling you what I do. This is what I have been doing for the longest time. I'm not saying I'm right, but this is what I do. You don't have to follow me, but you can use it as a reference. Okay. And I receive a lot of messages, PM, and asking me what kind of brand or what kind of fertilizer that I use. To be honest, I am not fussy at all about brands. I use whatever I can get. For example, if I go to a shop, I want to buy fertilizer. I will tell the shop people, I will ask them, what do you have? Then they give you one, I take. So the next time I will maybe use another brand. Next time, another brand. So I'm not sorry, I'm not loyal to a brand when it comes to fertilizer. I use what I have. I use what the shop have. And so I would say that basically any popular big brand in the market, they are all good. All these big brand, they are all good. And I'm also using my own fertilizer. I mix my own fertilizer, but I also use the branded stuff. So it is really, as long as you are following a certain routine and you are comfortable with what you are doing, I would say the same principle can apply to all the brand, all the different kind of fertilizer. So don't worry about brand. I mean, just follow your own routine and don't be too. I'm not particular at all. I'm not particular about brand at all when it comes to fertilizer. And there are also people asking me, how about macro or micro, the trace element? To me, I would say that I prefer the all-in-one fertilizer, because I'm more lazy kind of person. I don't want to really go and study that I have to dose this element, that element. No, I prefer the all-in-one. I think this is a safe way to do. But I do have, in certain instances, that I have to dose some trace element, especially the iron, for example. If I tank have a lot of red plants and I want my red plant to show the colors, I will dose more micro, the trace element, especially iron. That is on some special occasion where I have some special plants in my tank that I know I need to give the plant a little bit more something extra, like the iron, for example. Other than that, usually I use the all-in-one. I think that is the simplest way, the safest way to do. Okay. Yeah, so that is, I think, all my practice on fertilization. Let's recap a little bit. First of all, I only dose after, let's say, 1 month. I never dose in the first month after planting. Second, I only dose after water change. No water change, no fertilization. Number three, I always underdose. I think that rule of thumb is that 50%. I will always start with 50% of what is recommended. And if let's say I see the need to increase, I will slowly increase because I think underdosing is a safer way to do. So that is my way of fertilization. And now let's review what these 4 big brand of fertilizer that I use. Just kidding. I don't want to review them. Okay, guys. I hope you like this video. And for those who do not think that I'm doing the correct way, let me know in a comment. I mean, as I say, there is no right or wrong. This is my way. If you don't think it is correct, I have no problem. Okay, guys. Bye.